Now think about this scenario. Imagine you're a driver driving down a peaceful trail in Yellowstone National Park. I mean, you guys all know, the scenery is absolutely beautiful. But then here comes a problem. A herd of bison pops out of nowhere and they start crossing the road extremely slowly like a bunch of idiots. And they're blocking the view of the Grand Prismatic Spring. Now how would you feel? And what will you do exactly to solve this conflict? I'll tell you right now, there are billions of ways to solve this. And guess what? Some will lead to peace and others will lead to conflict. Or the solutions are just absolutely insane, like mine. But I'll talk about that later. Now think about this scenario. What if instead of a herd of bison, there was just a good old car driving slowly in front of you, and it was causing the same problems? Okay, I'll be honest with you. Both of these scenarios are extremely annoying because they cause annoying problems. But then again, problems come solutions, and there are billions of ways to solve them. And the reason I chose these scenarios because the way you solve them are completely different. Okay, let's talk about the first one. So, if I were there, I would start yelling at the bison, telling them to go faster. Okay, you might think that I'm insane for that, but guess what? This leads to a peaceful ending. I mean, there's no conflict at the end, right? Because theoretically, the bison don't know what I'm talking about. So, they're just like, oh, this man's crazy. I'm just gonna keep on walking. Yeah, it's basically it. There's no conflict. They go on with their day, and I'm just a little bit annoyed, but I'm still me. There's no conflict. And this goes the same for most people, except they do it differently. So what most people would do is they would wait patiently inside their car and maybe take a few pictures. But unless you're a complete psychopath and you would jump off the car to go pet them. And I hope that's not gonna happen because you're gonna die. Okay, this might all seem like blabber to you guys, but it will come apparent to you why I'm saying this later on. Now think about the second case again, where there's a car driving slowly in front of you. So in this case, if you're easily annoyed and ill-tempered like me, you would probably be swearing inside your head and trying to get past it quickly. But then, suddenly you realize the person driving was an old man in his 70s. Now, how would you feel now? If you're a man with the heart, or a woman with the heart, you would probably regret everything you said or did. And next time, if you knew there was an old man or woman inside their car, wait patiently like the first case scenario. But then, obviously, here comes a problem again. Because what if you didn't know that there was an old man or woman inside their car and they're driving extremely slowly? Well, I'll put it right here. Just assume. Because guess what? This is the best way to end this conflict. Well, I mean, first of all, there's no conflict. He's just driving slowly. But even if you realize when you get past the car that the driver isn't an old man or an old woman in their 70s, it's still peaceful, right? No one's raging. No one's like breaking the speed limit or anything. It's just a peaceful ending. Maybe you'll wave to each other and say, but then this is all peaceful. I'll put it right there. But don't get me wrong, okay? I'm not saying that old men or old women are not capable of driving fast or they're herds of bison. I'm just trying to tell you the correct attitude. But nonetheless though, this is just scratching the surface of what I actually want to say today. And it's actually extremely serious, and there are people's lives that are affected by this. A few days ago in the Bay Area, a middle school kid attending his graduation ceremony was walking to school, and he was killed by a drunk driver who didn't yield at the stop sign. How much more cruel can this get? An innocent child, the same age as me, died without realizing what happened. And there are many of these cases that happen every single week in California. Do you know the most absurd thing about this? The driver didn't even stop to look. How cruel is that? Well, obviously he was caught later on, but the damage was done, and there was no repairing it. So I was surfing on social media to see the opinions of others, and guess what I found? It wasn't the driver's fault. He was drunk. You might think, well, what an idiot. And then guess what the comments were? Almost every single person agreed in unison. Even more idiots. This just comes to show how incorrect and wrong our attitude is to these cases, because there are people that are innocent who are dying. Sometimes they don't even have a place to rest in peace. They rest in innocence. And I'm concerned with this because there are more of these cases happening every single day in California, my home state. And I'm going to tell you, California is the most car crash state in the U.S. According to fatalities from crashes in California.gov, in Los Angeles only, every single 40 hours, there's one person that dies to these cases. And guess what? I repeat, that's only in Los Angeles. And guess what? Guess how many cases happen every single year in Los Angeles? There are about 33,000 of these cases that happen. 90% of them are injured or disabled, and the rest are dead. And I repeat, again, only in Los Angeles. Guess how many in California? Last year, in 190,000 cases, there were 270,000 people in total who were injured or dead, which means 1.4 people are either injured or dead in each crash. These numbers are rapidly increasing every single year. And I'm concerned. And there needs to be a solution. The most important one, I think, is following the speed limit. Don't get me wrong, okay? I'm not a professional driver, but I realize that there's a problem and there needs to be a solution. So just listen to me. If everyone follows the speed limit, there's practically no conflict, which is why I talked about the first two scenarios early on. If there's no conflict, there'll be no raging. No one will get mad at each other, and none of these cases would happen. And plus, even if everyone is driving at the same speed, everyone's in perfect equilibrium. There's no one to break the pattern. Even if there's one, there's not going to be as many cases that happen today in California. This will save tons and tons of lives. So I'd say we should do this and follow the speed limit. No matter what car you drive. No matter if it's like a 911 turbo Porsche or a 40-year-old Toyota Camry, just follow the speed limit. Some people post on social media saying, my Tesla is so fast. It's like 900 horsepower. What's the point of that? If you want to be a complete cuckoo bird and drive 90 miles per hour, but the speed limit is 60, do that where no one is around. Because I don't care about your life and you don't care about others. Because there are people dying because of you. Guess what? If you were driving in a populated area, you're guaranteed to get in a crash and someone's gonna die. So I'd say you listen to me and focus up. Every single year, there's more road ragers, speeding, and overall reckless drivers on the road. And this needs to change. And I'm looking for a solution. So I'd say we flip the switch and turn all of this around. Thank you for listening.